Hi everyone, and welcome to what is for me take two of doing this. But the first thing I've done on my YouTube channel in quite some time. My previous iteration that I've spoken to the camera for about 8 minutes without the microphone picking it up is now consigned to the bin, and we will try again. This time noting that the audio is actually working, which is always a good start. So yeah, if I do glance down to the side, that's basically what I've got my other screen. So yeah, it's one of those things. Still also not really accustomed to looking into the camera when talking and doing things. It may grow. So what we're here to do today, entirely different from previously. We're not playing any games particularly. We are ranking all the monsters from Monster Hunter Rise, which is a game I picked up and played a lot of recently. Now I've just completed the end game area and have now built my build that I enjoy. Found a nice community online that I'm part of, and really enjoying the gameplay of it. So we're going to go through and rate all of the monsters. Um, Two things to preface this: I am relatively new to Monster Hunter. I played a fair bit of Monster Hunter 3 back in good old DS days. I think no, it was 3DS. It was one of the first games on the 3DS I got, and played a bit of 4. Um, Not played anything in between, so skipped Generations and World. But Rise, something about it that just called me in. I fancied picking it up, and lo and behold, I have loved every minute of it so far. A couple of fights, not so much, but generally speaking, we'll come to those. Um, and I've not played very many weapons, so I played Hunting Horn and Greatsword in 3 and 4, and started with those in Rise, but have swiftly moved to dual blades. I'm a much more aggressive hunter. I like to be in and out, zipping around, maneuverability, and dual blades just speak to that in ways that the others just absolutely cannot. So just wanted to rate the monsters. We're going to do them in alphabetical order with the apexes all at the end, so we'll come to those. So without further ado, let's get into this for take two. Thankfully, I didn't get very far into it, as I say, only 8 minutes of chatting. So starting off then with Aknasom, I would call this baseline. It is a good hunt. I do prefer the Gurabeko hunt, which Aknasom I think is replacing as a Firebird. Um, it doesn't really have any new things to the hunt, but it's very vertical fight, so there's a lot of ways to use the new Wirebug system in Monster Hunter Rise, and as an aerial dual blade user, Aknasom just speaks to me. I can get up above it, wail on its head and crest, and then when it starts going for the sweeps, go in for the leg hits. It's generally a fun fight, if not particularly expansive as far as mechanics go. Almudron. Now, if you'd been talking about when it was a greatsword or hunting horn, it would be down here. I absolutely could not stand this fight. But as a dual blade user, I can't put it anywhere other than here. It is fantastic. I absolutely love the aerial attack where you can just go up and then just you spin all the way along the body. And with Almudron being such a long monster, you get so many hits in. It's just so satisfying to do. The its attacks really encourage you to use wire bugs as well. So it again, as a new monster, it just really plays into the whole mechanics of the new game. Great fun. Really love this hunt. Um, Anjanath. Not sold on Anjanath, if I'm honest. Um, I think it's down here, personally, at a B level. It's okay, but it doesn't really have anything particularly challenging. It's just fire breathing T-Rex kind of almost. Um, just doesn't really scream um, with any new specific mechanics. Arzuros, again, kind of uninteresting. Um, it is a low rank monster, one of the first ones you'll come across, same with Acnosom, um, but it just doesn't have anything unique to it. Like, there's no real benefit for going aerial, there's no particular benefit of staying on the ground, and you can be punished for both. So, like, I'm not sold on the Arzuros fight. It's not tedious, but it's not interesting anymore. Barrioth, I ooh, I think I've got to say S tier for Barrioth. It's one of my favourite monsters, which probably helps it. The design is cool, um, but the fight itself, it's one of the early low rank monsters that you'll fight, but it teaches you about hunting, breaking its claws so it will skitter around on the ice, breaking its tail so it can't sweep you as much. Um, and the fight itself is about management of resources, management of stamina. It is a very fast, aggressive monster itself, so you have to wear it out, anticipate its movement, wait for it to come in for attacks, and dodge out of the way at the last minute. And that's the kind of thing that Dual Blades really emphasizes as a playstyle. So it's very, very fun for me personally. I did play it a lot actually with the Great Sword to begin with, and that's a harder fight, but I'd still rank it at the same level. Um, Baroth, can't stand it. Absolutely cannot stand it. For something that looks to be slow and lumbering, it is not. It moves very quickly. It I find it constantly turns to the point where I'm just plinking off its head. It's very difficult to get around it to make any attacks. Um, and just generally speaking, I do not enjoy this monster. It was the first time I carted in Rise was to a Baroth. I do not like them at all. Barrioth, marginally better. It's got wings. You can attack them a bit a bit more easily. Again, also a very stony monster. Haven't fought a lot of them and just try not to. Um, so yeah, I'm not going to rate that one particularly highly myself. Basil, think you join Acnosom. You have like with Basil, the fight itself is quite interesting with the shedding scales and trying to avoid the explosions, and um, it's quite a large monster. You've got quite a lot of space to work with, and the hitboxes are quite forgiving in that respect. Um, it's very much a be aware of your surroundings monster rather than necessarily be aware of what it is doing. But you have to keep an eye on both. So that's quite interesting, and the wirebugs add to the fight. The ability to zip away from the explosions and hang above them and all kinds of things make it quite interesting. Bishaten, which is where we found the microphone not working last time. I'm going to put this with Barrioth. Um, Similar to Almudron, the first time I fought it, I could not stand it. But after a little bit of time, I had to. Yeah, I was trying to farm its armor. This was still in low rank. I was trying to farm its armor just so I could have something with a bit more defense to it. I fought like 5 back to back, and I got to the point where I actually did one almost flawlessly. Just didn't get hit, um, except for like a couple of attacks in the middle. Um, but the way that you can um, like the way it telegraphs its attacks and what you can do back to it, really interesting. And with dual blades, you can again just very similar to Acnosom, you can take the vertical fight to it and maneuver around it quite well, which I thought was very interesting. Chameleos, this is definitely between these two. I think I'm going to settle it in the S tier. I don't think it's quite as satisfying as the Almudron fight. Actually, no, tell a lie. It is, and for one singular mechanic. At one point, it can put poison onto the floor in a ring around it, and then uses its wings to buff it and um, head it out, and it goes out in an expanding ring around it. And the wirebug mechanic just makes it so fun. You see that happening. You wirebug up and then hang in midair off your wirebug. The poison cloud goes underneath you and you can go straight in. It's so much fun. I mean, the other one is that you can be spin attacking down its back while it's invisible, which is quite cool. Um, so yeah, I think that earns Chameleos its double S rank. It is very fun. Diablos, no, just no. Dual blade user, Diablos, no. Gosarag. This is very similar to the Arceros in that it seems to punish you wherever you're stood, no matter what. Um, but it just hits like a truck. There is one thing I like about the Gosarag fight. In fact, yeah, there's one thing I like that redeems it and puts it into C as opposed to joining the Diablos, and that's the when it makes its ice blades. They are fun to attack, but otherwise, oh my god, no, just no. I do not want to fight those voluntarily. Um, Great Baggy. You don't deserve to be up there. I don't even know that you're necessarily along the same lines as an Acnosom. I think, yeah, I fought enough of you in the other games that you're just not an interesting fight. You're not a bad fight, but you're not interesting. And the Azuchi, yeah, I say it's the first large monster you fight. It's not spectacularly interesting as a fight. Um, Same with the Roggy. I've fought enough of your kind that it just doesn't matter. Duatados. Now, this was a new one for me, but I know it's not a new monster. And I'm struggling to like it's a long monster, which is always good for a dual blade. But I don't think it's got anything unique going for it. I'll put it in A tier purely because of the number of hits you can get as you traverse its back, but it's not really that much of an interesting fight. Kezu, again, it's not new, it's not unique. In fact, it's a bit of a pain as a dual blade user, especially in area one, because you get if it goes into the if you go for your aerial vault as you go up, if it then in the couple of frames after you've done that goes into the electrify as a hub part, you're going to come down on it and there's nothing you can do to stop it. So yeah, I think you go there just on. You're a bit of a pain to hunt. You're not uninteresting particularly. You're not unfun like the Diablos, but you do cause issues sometimes. Kulu, yeah, well, I think you deserve to be in B tier. You're not as bad as BRRRR for like the like hittable thing when you're holding a rock, because A, it's only some of the time, and B, you can hit other parts of it much more easily than the BRRRR, and you don't hit anywhere near as hard. So yeah, you can go in B. Kushala, I haven't fought this very often. I've had like 2 or 3 fights with it. But every fight I have had with it has been interesting and engaging. Um, I think you get to sit in A. Same with Basil, that you might move up as I fight you more. Simply because I haven't explored all of the mechanics of that fight. A lot of the times I've fought it have been in group play, so you get to sit at A, Kachala. And Lagombi is just Argyros with breakable ears and that can fling ice balls. solid B. It's fine fight, but nothing particularly interesting. Um, Magnamalo, so the flagship monster of Monster Hunter Rise. Again, like the first couple of times I fought it down here, like it was super aggressive. Did not get the fight. Didn't enjoy it. I think you get to sit up here now. Um, it's not a particularly difficult fight anymore now that I understand how it works. Um, but the way that, again, it as a new monster, you get to play around with the wire bugs with it, make it a much more interesting one. So similar to Chameleos, it will do a cloud of um, explosives that come out rather than poison, and you can wire bug over it and do all kinds of things. And its charge up thing is very similar to a Zinogre, um, which, spoiler alert, something I quite like. So yeah, I think you get to sit at S. Mizutsune, for your length, you should be up here. For the fact that you can snipe me out of the fucking map, you get to sit here. Um, I don't enjoy fighting Mizu. Um, I do it when I have to, but would never be a monster I would pick for myself. Um, just the sniper beam of water is so much of a pain. I quite like the bubble mechanic, um, but not the jet ray like laser beam of water that it uses. Nagakuga, my favourite monster, I think, possibly. Like Barioth is close. Nagakuga, they're basically on the same kind of lines. Just Nagakuga uses its tail in a vertical fashion as well as the horizontal fashion that you get from Barioth. But Nagakuga's a black cat, and I've got two adorable black cats, so I think Nagakuga wins out in that. Puke. I quite like Puke. I didn't fight it when I was going through low rank initially, actually. It was only when I came back to clean up the quests. But it is. I think it hovers up here somewhere. I don't think I rate it quite as highly as these four, so I think you get to sit in A. But you maybe I should have kept the A plus region, and I think Puke might have lived there. Um, it's an interesting fight. The fact that you can break both its heads to um, damage the stuff it does with poison there, and its tail to reduce the poison spread from that it spits out from that. Very interesting. It's not specifically great as a dual blade fight, I don't think, but it is still a fun hunt. Rajang, um, it is a monkey, so much like myself as a monkey thief, like maybe it should be higher, maybe it should be lower because I keep getting confused whenever anyone's yelling about hunting the monkey. Um, and as a dual blade user, I think it probably sits down here. Like it's not a difficult fight, but it's very hard to hit its crit spots as a dual blade user. So I think it joins Kezu. It's an okay fight, but again, not one I'd pick for myself. Rachna, now, that is a fun fight. Not particularly bothered by spiders myself. More bothered by the surprise. So, like a spider crawling across your foot is very different from the spider that you spot across the room. I always say that. But Rachna, there's so many breakable spots on it. You can do so much with the aerial attacks. Again, the wire bugs work really well with it as a fight. And it's really fun to ride. Which again isn't specific to dual blades, but Rachna just exhibits all the best things of the franchise, I think. Rathalos and Rathian will just do as a pair because they basically are. Um, and I think they get to sit in the S tier. I do love flying wyverns. Um, they're a bit more of a challenge with the dual blades, especially Rathalos, as he tends to keep his tail higher. Rathian tends to let it drag along the floor, so you can use it to vault more easily. Rathalos, you sometimes have to get lucky with the frames to to be able to vault up and attack. But Wirebugs solve that, which is something I often need to remind myself when I'm in the middle of the fight and running around in a bit of a panic as to why I can't hit it, and also flash bombs to bring it down to the ground. Um, but yeah, I quite like the fights, the whole severing mechanic. I'm sure it used to be the case if you severed the tail on a Rathian that you could no longer get poisoned by it, and I know for a fact that that is not the case in Rise. But please do correct me in the comments if I'm wrong on that one. But I seem to recall if you chopped off the tail, you couldn't be poisoned anymore, and now you can be. Um, Ludroth. I've got nothing particular to say about this creature. It's again something where if you hack the tail off, it's fine. It's unfortunately not like cat-like, so it doesn't get to be in the S tier. I fought like a million of you because dash juice is a thing. Somnicanth. I think you get to live in S tier. Again, you're a nice long creature. Not as long as Almudron and Mitsu, but long enough that you can get some proper hits in. It's got some interesting attacks with the way that it does the sleep dust, and the ways that you can avoid the stun and blast that it does are very interesting. So do enjoy Somnicanth. So that I think gets to live in S tier. Teostra. Now I went into the Teostra fights anticipating not liking them because Sarah Robin, who you should absolutely check out on Twitch, um, dual blade user, always says how much of a problem she has with them, and I anticipate that as dual blade main myself, probably would have the same. I then had to fight 5 of them to get the various bits of equipment I needed, and I don't hate it. I actually quite enjoyed the fight. I don't think it's S tier. I don't think it's up here, but it's a fun fight. I think I'm possibly less aggressive than Sarah, which is important. But Sarah does just tend to go straight in. I tend to hover around and chip in. My fights tend to take longer, but I tend to cart a bit less on TO as a result of that. So I think it gets to live in A. Giant inflatable frogs. Uh, Again, nothing particular special. I do enjoy when it puffs itself up and you can attack the chest, but that's nothing unique to dual blades. And in fact, dual blades are not like aerial dual blades do not help overly on this monster. So you get to sit and beat it. Which one is this? Nawa. Haven't fought Nawa a lot myself. Like it's a fun, unique arena. Um, yeah, I think you get to be an S tier. Uh, it's a relatively unique arena that you fight it in. You've got cannons and all sorts. And as a very long creature, dual blades do be entertained on it. You will be seeing all of the numbers because unlike some of the other long monsters like Mizu and Somnicanth, you don't skip anything as you go down it. You will just see numbers flying as you go up and down the creature. So yeah, I think Nawa, and in fact I'll just do it now. Ibushi and All Mother. all get to be in the same bracket there. Tigrex, cannot stand it. Absolutely cannot stand it. I mean, I know it's the same basis as like Barioth and Nagakuga, um, but I just find it never shuts up. Like it constantly roars and flinches you out demon mode and hurts you at the same time. Not a fan. Um, I need to put together like a max earplug set just for Tigrex at some point. If I'm gonna have to fight it, I'll fight it on my terms where I don't have to listen to it. And yeah, I just do not like that one at all. Toby Kadachi, again, a fight in the first couple of times, like it would be down here. It's grown on me a little bit, um, especially when you fight it in flooded forest, because I find it often climbs the walls and you can really punish it. And the aerial vaulting and um, spin attacks make a big difference there. So yeah, I think you get to sit in the A tier. Um, the only thing that I dislike on the monster, and Oni Baloney from the community has said it himself. Why can't you cut its tail? It's got a giant tail. Why can't you cut it off? So yeah, give me a Toby that can cut. I can cut the tail off. Goes up here. Otherwise, stays there. Volvodon. Eh, again, like I thought a lot of it. I think I actually prefer it with Great Sword. May go higher up, but with a dual blade, it's not a particularly fun fight trying to. You have to avoid its stink clouds, so you backing off more. You don't get to get in and actually do any damage. So it's a lot of forced waiting. Like Tio, it's not forced. Like you move out to see what it's doing and then go in when you know it's safe. Volvodon, you can be right next to it the entire time, but you're not gonna have a good hunt doing it. So you're gonna be backing off because it keeps emitting clouds. Zinogre, everything I said for Magnamalo applies here. Not the clouds, but like the way its aggression, its fighting style, very very similar. I say Zinogre is actually kind of like a cross between Magna and, well, what's the point? Magnamalo is a cross between Nagakuga and Zinogre. Like the different attacks they all use, kind of all play together. But yeah, I really like Zinogre. I like its armor set as well. Very much a fan. Valstrax. Now, Crimson Glow Valstrax, I was anticipating hating. I do not do well with things that really punish you, which Valstrax definitely can. But I've now managed to solo it twice, with only one card between those two attempts. And the entire fight is so much fun. You are rewarded for making the right choices, you're punished for making the wrong ones, so you learn and grow purely off doing it. And I will 100% say it is one of the favourite hunts I have now in Monster Hunter Rise. And that leads us to the Apex ones. Now, I have not fought all of the Apex monsters. I fought Azuros, Rathalos, and Zinogre so far. But I feel comfortable in saying that they are going to be in the same categories as up here. I don't think the fights are that distinct, from what I've seen of the three that I've fought. Now, I am happy to stand corrected when I actually fight it, but I anticipate this is going to live here, just straight out. This one I think may even be lower just because it's going to be brutal, but I'll let it live in A for the moment. Apex Arduos was nothing special in my opinion, so it can live exactly there. And yes, let's pop these three in here. Rathalos was a great deal of fun fighting that. Vathian, I've only seen 4, but it looks really interesting. The difference that happens with the tail mechanics um, looks really interesting to try and deal with. And Apex Sin Ogre, oh, give me an armor with that color scheme and like that kind of the look to it, the enhanced jaggedness of the Zinogre one. 100% would absolutely love for that. So there you go. That is my um, quick and dirty first go through. No script, just saying it as I think it for the Monster Hunter Rise monsters. Um, I don't know if I'll be doing more of this kind of thing. I don't know if I'll be doing rankings, talking to the camera kind of shows, but who knows? If this does well, if people are interested in it, then leave a comment. A like on the video will help, and definitely come swing by my Twitch. I now stream every Thursday night, 6 o'clock UK time to normally around half 8, 9 o'clock. At the moment, we've been playing Civilization 6, and that tends to be the kind of thing I'll gravitate towards. I've got some specials coming up in the near future for a couple of different things. I'm not going to leave specifics because obviously dates and times. I say you might watch this today when I'm recording it. You might watch this in 3 weeks from now, and it'll all be different. So come say hi on Twitch, and if you enjoy it, then I say hang around. We've got a small Discord started, and we're growing on there. So links for all that will be down below. Thank you for coming and hanging out.